I figured you guys met already. Dave and Becky and Mike have met everybody, and if they didn't meet everybody before, they sure met everybody just right now, just as I hit
Right
the go
now.
live button.
Right.
There we go.
So Dave over here is from Seed Studios, and he's going to be doing a Meshtastic presentation. He's going to have some hands-on stuff. He's going to have some nodes that you can put in your hands and attach to your phones and send messages back and forth and figure out how it all works. And then down below, we have Mike and Becky from Ham Radio Duo, and Becky volunteered. I think Becky did it first. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm saying this wrong. Maybe it was Mike that did it first to put on a CW class. How you guys doing?
No,
Do,
It's
it's
Mike's
it's
fault.
him. No, I'm
Yeah,
just kidding. It's both of us.
doing great. I was just volunteering her. That's basically what happened.
No.
That's marriage.
Yeah.
So these two have been doing CW for quite a long time, and I actually met Mike and Becky at Huntsville Hamfest last year. And I think is that when you guys started your channel was last year, or have you been going for a while?
Not too much farther, longer than that. That was shortly after we had created it.
Yeah.
It feels like forever ago now, and it was really small back then. We were proud of the channel at that point in time, but it's been a wild ride, and we're
Yeah. It's been a great year, but it's been
Yeah,
busy, that's for sure. But a lot of fun too.
yeah, for sure. I've watched a bunch of your videos. You guys are always having some fun out there. I like the kit build that you did, and I like the little antenna setup that you guys had made. That's a really neat little station to take up on a summit or a POTA and get it activated.
yeah, we
So
love it.
CW class, Morse code class. You guys just signed up to dig a trench to China from the top of Monte Sano Mountain on that one.
Yeah, I mean, every we get so many questions about how do you learn and how can I get started, and like just so many that we're like, all right, let's just dive in and go for it.
Hmm.
Yeah, and the mission of our channel is that we've just been having a blast with Morse code and portable operations, and we want to get as many people as possible doing the same. And so we thought that we run into people all the time that are asking us how to get started and what's the best way. And so we thought that obviously in a short time frame you can't attend a class and then leave the class ready to get on the air, but
Right.
we would be able to do something where if you're take somebody from being interested in learning Morse code to leaving knowing everything you need to know to be able to learn Morse code to be able to get on the air
Yeah.
for the very first part of your journey.
You could spend an hour class just going over pro signs. You could probably take a good 10 minutes and explain, no, probably 15 minutes and explain what the word fist meant. You can talk about receiver drift and how to. One of the things that I ran into, a lot of the old timers, and I'm saying that with lots of respect, a lot of the old timers like to run the old boat anchors, and they do drift a little bit because that's how radios were back then. We're all, what do you want to call it? We're all blessed with modern radios that have absolutely zero problems whatsoever. But one of the things that I ran into when I was learning Morse code is I would start talking to somebody, and then they would start talking, and their signal would drift. So I'd tune the VFO up to where their signal moved to, and then their signal would drift a little bit more, and I'd keep tuning, and we'd chase each other across the band. And so on your radio, you
I've
have
done that too.
RIT and XIT, receiver integral. I don't know what the I stands for, tuning. And so I can keep my transmit frequency and I can move the other frequency. And this is different than split. This is something you do on the fly as opposed to split where you know where he's going to be. RIT is he's moving all over the place and I'm just finding him underneath of where I am. And that'll keep
Yeah.
me stationary and I won't be chasing him up the band and he won't be chasing me up the band.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah,
remember
fun stuff.
the first time something like that happened to me, and I had no idea what was going on. Because it sounded weird too. It wasn't like it just faded. It was like, the whole pitch and tone of his signal coming back just went really weird, and I'm like, what is going on? And Mike was like, oh, he's probably on something really old here. Hold on, and we like kind of he helped me find him through the QSO, so it was kind of cool.
Excellent.
Yep.
So
Now
I
when
guess
I hear
before we
that
get going
distinctive
too
sound, I
much,
kind of chase it.
yeah. I guess before we start getting too much farther into this, I need to explain what we're all doing here. So
Yeah.
about 3 years ago, I came up with this idea, and I totally did not steal this from the 4 days in May guys, and I totally didn't improve it. I actually just found out a couple of days ago they were cheating. 4 days in May is Thursday for the QRP group, the QRCI, I want to say. is the name of the group that puts on that part of the program. So they do Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday is Dayton Hamvention. So they've actually co-opted the 4 days. 3 of those are Dayton, and shame on them. Because I thought 4 days in August should start Monday, and then the show starts Friday. And then I come to find out that the show actually starts Saturday. So we actually have 5 days in August instead of 4 days in August, but that's way too much background information. But what we're doing is the week before Huntsville Hamfest, we're all going to gather up in Huntsville, Alabama, in areas around the Hamfest. And one of those areas is Monte State Park, which is also a Summits on the Air location. And we have been camping out there for a long time. And one of the things I thought would be really neat to do is something that I've dubbed anti-forums this year. You go to a forum at a Hamfest, you kind of sit down in the chair, you've been walking around for a while, it's hot outside or it's cold inside or you just ate lunch or whatever. Somebody starts showing slides at you and you start to nod off to sleep, which is, the forums are great. They do provide a lot of information, but what I wanted to do instead of talk at you was do hands-on demonstration. So like I mentioned with Dave here, we're going to have some Meshtastic nodes. You can connect them to your phone, and then you can send messages back and forth. Instead of me telling you that Meshtastic is an off-grid messaging, communication, information exchange system that has encryption if you're not a ham, it doesn't have encryption if you are a ham, and all this other kind of stuff, you can actually send an encrypted message back and forth without relying on cell phone networks and things along those lines. So more hands-on. We're going to have a couple of other programs. Let me talk about what the other programs are, and we'll see where we're going. While I'm scrolling through the list, I do have a list of things that are going. There is the Toads Discord link at the top of the chat. There's a Huntsville-FDIA room, 4 days in August room. And if you can put on there what day you're arriving, then I can start gathering some of that information. And if you're looking for lodging or you have lodging to spare or ride share or anything along those lines, that is the room to coordinate all that kind of stuff. So I know Monday, K8MRD, Mike is joining us. And Paul, the Grouch in New Hampshire, is joining us on Monday. And then on Tuesday, Ham Radio 2.0 arrives. Lee, KI5YPR. Lee, you just changed your call sign, and I wrote down your old call sign, so I need to get I think it's NA5ST, or were you actually just joking about that? Lee McNasty instead of Lightning Lee. W4ORH, the Air Hammer, Ron arrives. Ron is the guy that puts on our POTA in Orlando, Florida. And we're already all together, so we don't need to put on a POTA. We're just there. But there is a POTA activity. We'll get to that in a minute. Tuesday, Dave, you said you arrive on Tuesday?
I'll be coming in Tuesday afternoon, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put that. And I should actually just share this screen here real quick instead of just talking about it. Let me do that. I was supposed to do that before the show. Why would I ever be prepared for a show? That would just be weird. Okay, so Tuesday, Dave arrives. Wednesday is when we start getting into the presentation so far. That's as far back as we have gotten. If there's something you guys would like to present, something you'd like to share, some kind of anti-forum that you'd like to put on, be my guest and let me know, and we will make sure that people attend. So the Meshtastic presentation is Wednesday. We don't yet have a time. Dave, pick a time.
I don't know. What time is good? What time do people get up? What time will people be awake and willing to learn about something new?
That's a good question. Depends on whether you're providing breakfast or not.
Do they have breakfast tacos in Huntsville? I could buy some breakfast tacos.
They have all kinds of stuff. I'm not putting you on the spot for food. I'm just spitballing ideas here. Of course, if you want to,
well, I'm kind of willing.
That's your game.
Yeah.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, I didn't know. There was breakfast at somebody's spots throughout this. I just didn't know.
Thursday morning, I think, or Friday morning. No, it's Friday morning because they're not getting there. So coffee at Carlos's and then dinner at Carlos and Steve's. So
Gotcha.
that's on Fridays. Let's get back to Wednesday. We'll kind of play it by ear, whenever anybody arrives. But food is definitely warranted.
Yeah, 9, 10 o'clock, I'd be good with.
Okay.
I'm an early riser, so I'll be up probably 6, 7 o'clock. But I doubt people will want, even if it is breakfast, to be there.
Okay.
But do we have a place for it? Is it just going to be at the pavilion, or?
There is a pavilion, and if the pavilion is otherwise occupied or not available yet on Wednesday, then we have a couple of cabins that we have reserved. I'll be in cabin
Okay.
8, and I think Jim has cabin 14. So we can do it on the lawn in front of the cabin or whatever. There's plenty of room
Okay.
around to do stuff. And then I've got Mike and Becky down on Wednesday for the CW class. So whenever Dave is done, it's your turn, Mike and Becky.
Yeah, that's
So-
fine. We can just tag team with Dave, maybe with a brunchy, breakfasty something. We can kind of go in together if you want to, Dave, and just have something there for the two of our groups.
Yeah, that works.
that.
And one of the things that Mike and Becky shared is that they live in the area, so
Yeah.
they can be our
So they'll
eyeballs and
know.
our recon
Yeah.
crew. Yeah.
They'll know where to get good breakfast. All right.
Bill, I got you down on Wednesday as arriving as well. At this point, I am arriving on Wednesday. I don't know what time yet. I haven't booked my flight because I don't know where I'm coming from. I don't know where I'm flying from. I think it's going to be Wyoming, but it could be Colorado. I just don't know yet. So Doc Brad arrives. So these are the witnesses in the chat, the alibis. Doc Brad, Bill, KK4PAL, me, Jim. Jim should be here. I don't know what's going on with Jim. Digital Rancher, that's Rob, the big tall satellite guy. John Gendron, Locutus of Ham, arrives, and he's going to be doing an array demo, and probably going to be doing that at the POTA on Friday. Broken Signal Danny is going to arrive. Danny is bringing some grass-fed ground beef for burgers for dinner Friday night. I think it's Friday night. Yeah, Friday night. And then Hank says he's looking for a campsite. Hank, did you find a campsite yet? No, Renee is doing breakfast tacos on Friday morning. Excellent. Let's write that down. All right.
And if we find out if there's people that are coming a lot later Wednesday, and it might be better to have it in the afternoon if a lot of people are coming in Wednesday, we're pretty flexible with that timing.
Okay.
And we can coordinate with Dave. Maybe we do lunch. We can pick up lunch or something.
Jim is trying to say that he forgot about all of us. I just got a text message from him. He said that he has forgotten about all of us and he isn't going to be here because he's going to pick up his kid. And I think that's a lousy excuse.
Horrible excuse.
And then Dave, I had you down as arriving on Wednesday. I just fixed that. I had you down there 3 times. You arrived twice on one day and once on the other day, but I got you all squared away.
As long as I'm there, right?
Exactly. Just don't spell your name wrong. Okay, so Thursday, I have not heard back from Gigaparts since I talked last Friday before our show last Friday, but the schedule for Thursday so far is going to be a 3D printing class, and then Tom WA2 IVD is going to put on a solder kit demonstration. He's got a crowbar circuit. He's actually going to try and explode it live in person. Well, he's not going to try. He's going to succeed at exploding it live in person to show you how the crowbar circuit works. And what a crowbar circuit is, you're familiar with a circuit breaker or a fuse. Those things trip or blow based on the amount of current going through, the amount of amperage that is going through the fuse or the circuit breaker. A crowbar circuit trips or blows depending on the amount of voltage that is going through the circuit. So your power supply in your ham shack is 13.8 volts, somewhere in that range. And I've had this happen on a Kenwood power supply. If you lose one of the voltage regulators, you're throwing 20 to 30 volts at the radio, and that's what the crowbar circuit's going to do. It's going to clamp in and stop that from happening and protect your radio from your power supply. The same way.
And I have one of his kits sitting right there on my power supply.
Is it plugged in?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And then, so you'll have the opportunity to purchase a soldering iron, like a $20 to $30 soldering iron from Gigaparts. You'll have the opportunity to purchase Tom's kit and build Tom's kit. And I've already built mine, so I'll be there to, sit in the chair next to you and walk you through and give you some pointers. So if you are extremely new to soldering, I am happy to sit down and give you probably way more information than you ever wanted to know about how soldering works while you're building the kit and seeing how it works and getting some real direct feedback So, if you've never done it before, great. If you have done it before, get yours built and come help somebody else that hasn't done it before, or save yours for later, or whatever the case may be. But kind of the point is that we're all going to be there together to help everybody out.
And TOI have one
And
as
then-
well, so I can help mentor soldering as well if somebody wants it.
Excellent. Thanks, Dave.
And
Yeah.
back to the
And,
3D printing.
Danny's going to be there. Go ahead.
Oh, back to the 3D printing. Forgive me if you already covered this, but is that something that we could help with as well?
Is that Gigaparts
Definitely.
doing it, or?
Gigaparts is going to put it on, but kind of the idea there is, like if I decided I wanted to buy a 3D printer, Gigaparts has 7 or 8 different models at least. And I know they carry the bamboo line. I think they just got a second line, but don't quote me on that. And I know very little about 3D printing. So let's open the box, assemble the 3D printer, and print something. And there'll be plenty of people that know about 3D printing there. They have a 3D printing guru who's going to talk about, different kinds of filament and bed sizes and scaling images and all kinds of stuff like that. But again, anti-form, we want to be hands-on. So you should be able to walk out of Gigaparts with a working 3D printer if you bring in your laptop and some knowledge in your head on how to make this thing happen. So any help is definitely appreciated.
Yep, that's where we got ours, and it's actually
We took their class.
And
Oh, awesome.
Yep, that's how we got started. But we've got our printer off to the side.
Yeah.
We call it Bambi. It's a bamboo branded one, and we just call ours Bambi.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah, that
David,
is
looks like you're-
Mando and Grogu.
Do it again.
So Mando and Grogu are my two printers.
What types of printers are they?
Those are bamboo P1Ss,
Okay, both the same.
Nice.
dual AMSs on each one.
What's an AMS?
It's a 4 filament holder. It's so you can do multicolor printing.
Oh, neat.
So each one of those has
professional workshop there.
I bought one and didn't have enough colors in it, so I bought another AMS and then got frustrated when I was printing something and wanted to print something else, so I bought a second set.
Wow, it's even going right
so
now.
you're actually
Yeah.
printing something
Yeah.
right now. What are you
I
printing?
know. I just saw it moving.
So that is a handle for the elk antenna that I just bought, and
Nice.
that is a squeeze fan for field day for tomorrow.
That's
Squeeze
fantastic.
fan to keep you cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then we've got, after the solder kit and the 3D printing, we've got Mike who's going to go over go bags. Mike likes to do go bags. I like to do go bags. Mike is driving, and Mike has more experience with the Explorer go bags that Gigaparts sells. So I volunteered him to give that anti-forum. But I'll be there myself. And then I'm trying to get them to provide lunch for us since we'll be there from 11:30 to 3:30 at this point. Hey, Jonathan, welcome. And then everybody that's arriving on Thursday is Steve, KO4AFL. He's going to arrive at 3 p.m. So if you are really itching hard to get your ham radio technician license or upgrade from tech to general or from general to extra, Steve will be there. He's our volunteer examiner coordinator for the ham radio clubhouse and the Toads Club. And we'll be able to get you tested on the spot. We'll just rope in anybody that we can find who's a volunteer examiner like myself and a bunch of y'all in the chat, and get you upgraded or get you licensed in the first place. And then Dave, Shooter Ready Standby arrives. Chris Bricker arrives. Actually, I should put down that Atlas arrives. There we go. And then Mike, Lawnmower in the chat. Mike's going to be there. You guys finally get to see Mike. This will be the second time I've seen Mike in like 4 years. And then Friday, we just got an update. Carlos is bringing coffee from his own coffee plantation, his family plantation in Puerto Rico. And if you talk to him ahead of time, K9OL, he'll probably even bring you some if you want some. And then Renee is going to provide.
Awesome coffee.
It is. It's good. Some breakfast tacos. She just mentioned that in the chat. And then this is when John Locutus of Ham is going to be doing his Phase Z array demo. All right, Jonathan's coming. Excellent. And then 8 a.m. until people just, start showing up at the pavilion, and probably right after breakfast. and we'll start doing POTA at the pavilion. And there's going to be a cookout there. It is a pay event to do the cookout, but the proceeds, after all the costs are covered, go to the Teachers Institute. And I want to say, I don't know, I don't see anybody in the chat yet because I'm too busy reading the events to you. I want to say it was almost $1,000 last year that we raised and sent. It might be more than that, to the Teachers Institute to help schools get a ham radio program. And if you don't know about the Teachers Institute, it's something that the league puts on, the American Radio Relay League. Don't hold that against them if you're one of those people that doesn't like it. But they do bring teachers out and teach teachers how to teach ham to students and help get the classroom set up and the school club set up and help with information. One of the things that you can kind of count on when you're trying to get your school interested, no, we don't have time for another program. This isn't football, that kind of thing. How about $500,000 worth of scholarship funds for your students? Oh, wait a minute, what? Now you have my full attention, So that's how I was able to get some ham radio stuff into my school that my kids were going to. So that's where that money goes. So it's a good cause, and the food's good, and there are some excellent cooks helping to cook out. So I know Mrs. K5YVY is going to be there cooking. And then Carlos is going to be doing parachutes all day long, so you'll be able to work him on an HT, or Rob will be there with his Yagi set up to light Carlos on fire. Was this recorded on Wednesday? This wasn't recorded at all, Mr. Rocker, but welcome. Pop-up VE testing again, and then dinner Friday at Campsite 51 Alpha, and then Saturday is the Hamfest, and Sunday is the Hamfest, and we all get out of Dodge. Oh, Jonathan's saying that they're easy to get scholarships, too. It looks like there is breakfast, lunch, and dinner on Thursday. Yes. We probably might be too stuffed. I don't know. So back to you, Dave. Tell us what you think a Meshtastic presentation would look like, since you'd be putting it on.
Well, the plan is I'll have a bunch of different devices to bring for people to touch and play. It's different. Oh, okay. Different styles of devices. I'll have some Heltec V3s. I'll have, the T114s. I'll have a wide variety of different Meshtastic devices for people to touch and feel and play and kind of look at. Yes, everybody can connect their phone to it, try and talk to each other, get a good feel, kind of a hands-on. I'll have a 30-second, 40-second, this is what, or maybe 2-minute, this is what Meshtastic is, and then this is how you do it, and let's do it. Let's get it. If you've got a device, get your phone out, start messaging each other. Let's see how this works. And so if you're new, I'll have some devices there for people to try and play with, from the tracker, T1000, all the way up to a T-Deck with the new MUI on there. I have a couple of devices now. They all have the new 2.7 firmware on there, which is changed if it's got a display, you can now actually navigate a lot of the device from the device instead of from your phone. It's wonky if it's only got a user button, but like the new L1 that Seed Studios is coming out with actually has a joystick, and you can actually do canned messages and everything from the device without having a keypad and a big touchscreen. So it's kind of neat. But yeah, I'll just have a bunch of devices. I think I personally own 13 or 14 devices.
Wow, addict.
Yeah, I have a problem.
I wouldn't call it a problem.
I'll have them all out there for people to play with, and they're all bright yellow, translucent, and black, so I can make sure I get them back.
Excellent.
But yeah.
So what is your most affordable device that you'll have up there if anybody wants to purchase one and get in on the fun?
Most of the devices I have are maker devices. It's something you bought the board, you buy the battery, you buy the antenna, you buy a case or build a case. The most affordable device out there right now is actually the T1000, because even if you take a Heltec V3 that you paid $20 for, you then pay $9 for a battery, $5 to $12 for an antenna. If you don't have a 3D printer, $15 for a case, and then you're at the same price as the T1000. and the T1000 comes ready to go. So without having to build it. Now, if you're a tinkerer and you like to play,
Did
nice
you say
sunglasses.
T1000?
Yes, I did.
Go ahead. If you're a tinkerer
Funny,
and you like to play,
my T1000 is named Skynet. So
there you go.
but so yeah, but I'll have the wide range of devices where people can see all the different stuff and things that have to do with Meshtastic. Hopefully I'll have, which I don't know if you have one or not, but the new Heltec battery charger that's
I
also
do. Yeah.
node.
Yep. The mesh
Yeah.
pocket.
Mesh pocket. Hopefully I'll have mine by then. It's on a slow boat from China right now. But yeah, just trying to have, I'd like to play and tinker, so I have a little bit of everything and I have multiples of some. So I'll just bring all my toys and let people play with them.
So the
I'm looking forward to
T1000,
seeing
that's the sense cap, the one that looks like
Yes.
a credit card, kind of translucent.
Cool. Correct.
Cool.
Which
Danny,
all
I
my
sent you a
devices
link
are
if you want
in
to
the other
talk
room.
about your. Danny, I sent you a link if you want to talk about your video that you did, so you can join us on the stream. You were saying, Dave, all your devices are.
Are in the other room. Otherwise, I'd grab them and I'll bring them and kind of
Okay.
flash them around. But yeah, the T1000, it's the best bang for the buck right now. And it's not just because I work for Seed Studios. I work with Seed Studios because of the T1000, because we use it for emergency communications as a tracker and an extra layer of communication. So that's how I got involved with them, is because the T1000 and what we're doing it with our local emergency management group.
Nice.
So it kind of just worked out. But yeah, that's the best bang for the buck right now. There's other devices out there that it kind of depends on what you want it to look like. I can take any device and make it look amazing or stupid. It just kind of depends on how you want it to look.
I have that ability too, the make something look stupid part. It's a talent. So, Mike and Becky, I want to give you guys a chance to talk. I know that this is something that you guys just kind of dropped on me 4 or 5 days ago now, maybe. So, if you don't have too much planned, that's okay. But kind of wing it. What are you thinking? What do you think we need to have with us? Anything at all, or how's it going to work out?
Probably it will kind of depend on the audience. If it's a lot of people that are brand new, or they've gotten on the air some or haven't gotten the air at all, it might depend. But I guess, if you have a radio that you can throw in practice mode, you already have a key, we'll probably bring a bunch. We actually designed and are selling a straight key.
Oh, nice.
And so we're going to bring a bunch of those. We also can bring some of the V-band adapters. So if you got a computer, we can go over some of the tools and practice things that you can do just on your computer too. Oh, that didn't sound good.
Oh no, it's all right.
Yeah, I think
take
that,
it off the plate and stuff fell. I'm listening.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to
That was
interrupt.
stuff that was supposed to fall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, sometimes we have problems getting things off of our plate, and so
Yeah.
maybe we got to try that technique.
Nice.
Just drop
Throw
it.
it across the room and it'll come right up.
Yeah,
I just boosted my microphone. Hopefully that helps out.
Yeah.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yeah, you sound great to
Okay.
us now.
Awesome.
So I think that maybe philosophically, it probably would be good to be able to take anybody. I would love any feedback if anybody has particular expectations, but we could take everybody from an interest in wanting to learn CW to making sure that they know a very clear path to being able to get on the air. So
Yeah,
I
and
think,
I don't think you'd be able to walk away with. Sorry, let me start over again. I don't think you'd be able to walk in knowing nothing and walk away getting on the air. It's a mountain to climb. So,
Yeah, and so-
set your expectations accordingly.
yeah, and I think that after you get on the air, we took the CW Innovations class, and they're just to kind of steal their tagline. Their tagline is learning how to learn. And so, but they start from get it after you're already on the air. And so similarly, we can teach people who are interested in Morse code how to learn. So you're not going to sit down and have a class and then leave being able to have checked off, oh, now I know CW, but you'll know the tools that you can use to take the first step to how do I practice every day? What things are important to practice? What are some things based on science about learning Morse code?
Yep.
And then for hands-on stuff, we can, like Becky said, we can make sure we have some keys and some V-band adapters, which the people watching this may be very familiar with that, but the adapters that allow you to plug your Morse code key into a phone or a computer for being able to send practice or even QSOs over the internet.
So QSOs over the internet is V-band. What kind of hardware would you need to do V-band?
I
You have
got
that
one.
box?
Yeah.
Becky will get it, but it's basically, so actually, just a quick tangent since Dave's here. I have a Seed Studio device around here somewhere that I use to make the equivalent of a V-band adapter, where you plug in your Morse code key, and then the firmware that I wrote for it does the same thing. But this is it. This is a V-band adapter. Oh no!
I think you just gotta hold it.
Put
What do
it
they call
in
it?
front of your hand. Yeah.
Put it in front
Try
of
and get
you.
Here, you do it.
I
Okay.
understand.
All right, we'll work on the technical.
Yeah. Oh. Let me get further
I'll
back.
cover my face.
There you go.
There.
It was Mike's face that was getting in the way. So it's USB-C
Yeah.
on one side, and what's on the other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the audio.
Or the
Okay.
3.5 millimeter jack. And so the newest version is USB-C. The previous version was the Mini B, I think. But basically, it shows to the computer, it looks like a keyboard, and then you plug your key into it. And then when you go to the V-band website, you can use your keyboard as your key if you want. But if you ever have tried to do that, it's not very ergonomic. And so it basically does the same thing, though. It just emulates the left and right control keys to be able to do that. And then I know some people that may have written a couple of games and things like that too. That use the V-band adapter, so you can use it on the
Some
V-band
people.
website. Or I got the idea from the Morse Invaders website.
Yeah.
So if anybody hasn't checked that out,
Yeah.
we lost a couple of nights the first time we discovered that.
And then he created a battleship game, which is super fun. And then we also created it's a chat bot, but it's AI. And so you can have a QSO that is smart enough to have a conversation versus you have to have a script that you put in for it to do something back. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah. And a disclaimer there, we agree. We believe that being on the air is the best place you can be whenever you're doing Morse code. It's just that tools like this get you more familiar with being able to send or practice and stuff like that.
Yep.
I ran into that myself because I had practiced in a perfect environment with a keyer, practice keyer, and zero QRM, QRN, anything like that. And when I got on the air, I'm like, wait a minute, the signal fades. There's noise coming in, and I can't hear every single letter perfectly. And it added stress. I mean, I'm not unhappy that I did it that way, but I bet if you learned with all the static and QRM and QRN and stuff that you'd probably be better off when you got on the air, a little less diving off the deep end a second time.
Yeah, and there's a service called Morse Walker that allows you to practice for contests and also POTA and CW, and it has artificial QSB and QRN.
Yeah. And you can practice like a POTA activation, and
Sorry about
our
that.
doggy's barking. And the call signs come in like in a pile up. And you literally have to try to pick out call signs with radio noise and pile up coming in. It's practice, so it's pretty fun.
I'm not good enough to do that yet. I get a pile up in Morse code coming at me. I'm like, never mind. Spin the dial. I give up.
Yeah,
Where'd he go?
The first thing you have to learn that is sending question marks. Like get
Right.
a letter, send a question mark. Get 2 letters, send another question mark. Like my first POTA activation, I remember, I just sent lots of question marks.
Well, so that would be a cool little trick. I mean, in the U.S., it's N, K, and W are the leading, the majority of the call signs that are out there. So just send K question mark. If you get a pile up, somebody's got a K in there somewhere. There's an even 75% chance that you've got somebody.
Yeah.
Yep, I've definitely done that before. Yeah, and you were talking earlier about the signal that changes frequency. If you are a CW POTA hunter, it's do the activator a favor and just move off frequency a little bit. When everybody's exactly on your frequency, it just sounds like one big tone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jason, sorry about Nightbot yelling at you. Nightbot doesn't understand call signs. Hey, Paul's here. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Bill, I will definitely take you up on this. Tell me what day you want to do it. Bill is an absolute legend when it comes to finding deals. I want to say Bill got an entire DX Commander antenna for like $25. He got a Yaesu FT8800 for $5. He got a Yaesu FT90, the little mini mobile rig that I did a video on a while back. He got one of those for like $15. Bill can find a deal. Bill is amazing. If Bill had one talent that I could describe, it would be the deal man. All right. Still no sign of Jim, so I'm going to have to talk about it without him. Somebody made a comment on one of my videos about wanting to know more about DMR. Perhaps it was the video I did on a new DMR radio that was released this week. And so we're going to do it. We're going to bring a couple of DMR radios with us, and we're going to do simplex DMR. And then that's just plain radio to radio, because there is this big myth out there that DMR only works through hotspots and only over the internet, and that's not real radio. You're wrong, and you're very loud and you're very vocal about it. DMR is just radio, and it just works over radio. And then some smart people have made it tunnel through the internet and talk to the entire world, which is really cool. But Jim and I are going to set up DMR from scratch on a couple of radios and talk to each other. And then we're also going to go over code plugs and hotspots and things like that. So if you got a DMR radio, bring it, and we will talk some DMR simplex and see what we can learn. Yes, Grouch, you are absolutely correct. DMR is a PITA to configure. It is. I agree. So we're going to put on a DMR class, and that's going to be on Wednesday too, whenever Meshtastic and the CW class is over with. We're Pauls deep in here. I should not have said that out loud. We have 3 Pauls here. So let me know when DMR is scheduled. So I can plan on doing something else, right, Lee? Well, I mean, you can do analog on DMR radios. That'll work. Okay, so we have stuff going back to Wednesday. If there's anything that you guys can think of that you would like to see as a class, or if there's anything that you would like to put on as a class, please step up and let us know, and we will get you on the schedule. We have half of Wednesday scheduled, so we need to get all the way back to Monday for this thing to fulfill its destiny of being 5 days in August now. But it doesn't have to be 5 days in August. It could just be some downtime where you're just hanging out and talking radio nonsense with your friends.
There's also we found it last year. I think it just opened actually last year. It's called Signals Museum of Information Technology, and it's kind of in between Monte and the Von Braun Center. It's kind of on the way, but it is amazing. It's someone's collection of everything you can think of, from old radios and telegraphs. They have hands-on stuff. They have interactive things. It might be a fun, like, everybody meet up there and go through it. It's really amazing.
Yeah. Actually, that's really cool. If it'd be helpful, we can reach out to them. They actually have one of the clubs meets there and does their amateur radio club meetings, and they have an area with a kitchen and all that kind of stuff too. They might give a little discount for a group tour kind of thing. Plus, we could do some
use their space maybe.
Well, that would be awesome. Send signals from the Signals Museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when we first walked in, my expectations weren't very high, and I was like, okay, this is like if I was just a little kid dreaming of like what if all the radio stuff that I wanted to see was all in one place. I was like, how in the world is this real? It is.
Right.
They had old PCs and it was really neat.
Nice. So there's also the Space and Rocketry Center and the Armory that's there. The Armory's kind of a private military base, though, so you might need to get an escort, which we might be able to arrange.
Yeah, probably can't get on the Arsenal. You'd have to get a visitor pass or have someone escort you on the Arsenal. Yeah. But the Space and Rocket Center is open to the public, and they've got some really neat things there.
Now, I went to the Arsenal, I think it was year before last. Maybe it was just last year. And they have some serious security to get in and out of that base.
Yep.
I would imagine it's called the Arsenal.
Yeah. But that's where the mission control is, the Johnson Space Flight Center. So
Okay.
there's a lot of stuff going on there. Can you stream these events for those traveling challenged? So that question came up before. I don't know that we'll have enough signal strength to do so because there's not a lot of cell service on the mountaintop, but there's also a lot of tree cover, so that interferes with Starlink. So it's like 2 down. What do you do next? The first year I was there, I had to drive down, and while I was getting food at McDonald's, I borrowed McDonald's Wi-Fi going through the drive-thru, and by the time I got done going through the drive-thru, I had my video uploaded. So there's challenges to doing it. We will do some short takes and possibly put up some short videos, but I just don't think that we have the infrastructure to do that kind of transmission from the mountaintop this year. But we'll keep doing it. Yeah, record and push out after for sure. So the JS8 call new release demo, maybe Varak demo. That would be great, David. Are you talking about putting it on, or are you talking about do you want to see it? Let's put that on the list at the top. So let's add JS8. I always do that.
While he's doing that. So it didn't work. I had a blowout where some of the pieces. Come on. So that's
Some
supposed to
split.
be a fan blade, not. But yeah, and some of the other pieces came out weird, but that's why 3D printing is fun.
That's the part that bugs me the most about it is the waste.
Oh, I've actually started melting because with the multicolor printer, you have what's called poop, right? And that's when
Right.
it changes from one color to the other color, and it extrudes to make sure you get the right color. I've got buckets of it, and I've actually started melting them down into silicone, taking silicone molds, putting them in the oven, and melting all that filament down and making, right now I'm making skulls, right? So I have little poop skulls. It's kind of neat. But that way the waste isn't gone completely to waste.
No waste of the waste.
Hey, Tank's in.
So you got a show starting soon?
No,
Or he's
not that
just-
I know of. He's in the chat.
just- Oh, okay. I heard the Discord thing going off.
Oh, that's the guys from my club are all coordinating right now. So that's me.
And they're coordinating field day. So, Mike and Becky, what's your plan for field day?
Oh, I wish we had something exciting. So on winter field day, we just decided to wing it, and we just tried to drive up to Monte Sano and join the club there. We might have to try to just see if we can just be participant or
Go up there again. I think by the time we got there last year, they were already kind of breaking it down. It was more in the afternoon. So we're not the early risers. So, we'll definitely go after everybody else gets done with presentations.
Right.
But so we might go up on Monte Sano. They usually kind of have a pretty big setup up there.
Okay, cool. They have a planetarium up there. Have you guys been to the planetarium before?
I have not. I've definitely seen it. And every time we walk by it when we're camping up there, we always talk about the fact that we probably should go.
I think they have like every other Saturday, or they have open to the public where they actually do, events, and they go in and show you stuff, but we haven't actually attended one.
Yeah, and we've got a local ham friend who does field day from by I think in the parking lot or near the planetarium is where they operate from.
Yeah.
Okay. I put on the list to talk to the planetarium guys, so I'll make that phone call and see what we can do about maybe there's a day they want to put on a show and we can all go in and see what's going on. But last time I was there, I took a walk around the outside of the building, and there is a bunch of abandoned ham radio equipment, like tower pieces and antenna stuff in various states of disrepair, returning to nature outside of the planetarium. So I guess there used to be an active ham club in the planetarium building, if there isn't still.
Interesting.
we'll have to. One of our friends is pretty active in the Huntsville, the local chapter, so we'll have to see
Cool.
what he says about it.
And then I also talked about building a repeater, and I don't know what's going to come of that, but it would be cool to like actually bring some equipment and put a repeater together. So that's kind of on the list. Again, I'm flying out, so I won't be bringing anything with me, which is going to make it a little hard for me to demo how to build a repeater with no repeater parts in hand. But we'll figure something out. Digital Rancher is going to do a satellite, get you on the air kind of thing, and he's going to be there. It really depends on what the satellite passes are that happen while he's there, and it's too far into the future to predict the
Right.
TLEs, the elements, as to know what satellite's going to be going overhead at what time of the day and whether or not you can see it from the mountaintop or not. But if there's an opportunity to hit one of the birds, then Rob will be there and he will be hitting one of the birds. And he's a fantastic teacher, and he's got an awesome radio for it. Go ahead, Dave.
And he makes it look so easy. I have tried and tried and tried with an HT and a arrow antenna and never been able to do it. But then like at Hamcation, watching him, I helped him set up his camera and everything else. And you just watch him go, and he starts calling out and people start answering him. And he's just doing this. And you're like, how do you do that?
So I met up with Rob at Yellowstone last year when we all went out there, and he got me set up with his radio setup, and I talked to somebody. I want to say it was an ISS pass. I made like 3 contacts through the ISS with him, and I was wearing his chest rig, and I was holding the antenna, and I was pointing it across the sky as it was going. And he's like, "You want to turn over here now, and you want to turn your antenna a little bit, and your time to change frequencies for the Doppler effect." And so he's got all that stuff going in the back of his head, and I'm just like, KM9G EN42, like just living my best life over here, trying to make it happen. So like, I think that helps out a lot to get started and know that it's possible, and then work your way backwards. And it's one of those things that gets easier and easier the more you do it, to the point where you forgot how hard it was in the beginning. But Rob's a good teacher. Let's see, program your radio. So if you bring a radio and if you bring a repeater you want to program into it, we can probably figure out how to program it from the front panel for you. And if you bring your computer or your laptop, if you've got one, we can show you how to get your software. I saw somebody in the chat had mentioned that they were having trouble getting the serial cable to work, and that's a problem with Windows 11 more so than it's a problem with the serial cable or the radio. So we'll probably be able to get you figured out, or at least get you pointed in the right direction, send you home with some homework, and help you out in the Discord later on. There is a SOTA register there because Montesano is one of the SOTA Summit locations. Summit's on the Air Summit. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say. So I have not done a SOTA activation from Montesano, but I have done Parks on the Air activation, a little one, while I was up there. So I'm going to head over and do a SOTA activation while I'm there. It's going to be super because you can just do it on 2 meters and talk to people who aren't in the activation zone, because it's a pretty big mountaintop. We talked about the Space Museum. There are a couple of places in town to go. There's the Back 40 Beer Company that Mike mentioned last week. If anybody has a fox for a fox hunt and wants to do that, we can talk about that. Yeah, it was a little done. Yeah, again, I'll be flying, so I can't bring a fox with me, but we can probably improvise one if somebody's got a cell phone and an audio cable to plug into a Baofeng, and we'll just loop an MP3 file or something. And that's all you really need to do to set up a fox, other than hide it, and then all the rest of the magic is finding it. Gigaparts. I'll tell them to get one built for us. And then the 2 that I added from the chat were JSA Call and VAR AC, and then I also added the planetarium. So 14274, Frank, what are you talking about? Play Find the Meshtastic. Oh, we could do that.
Oh, that would be interesting. I'm trying to think of how that would be done. They beacon once an hour.
Oh, Frank is doing a POTA. Light him up. 14274.
Let's see if I can catch him. He's in Texas, so I probably won't be able to catch him. Let's see.
Frank, what kind of antenna are you running? Vertical, horizontal, inverted V, inverted L, Delta loop, 2 meter, handheld?
We don't know how to switch our radio to sideband. Hold on. It's in constant CW mode. Tell them to drop down a little bit. Well,
Yeah.
We don't have a. I don't even know where our mic
we
is.
don't even know where our mic is. Sorry.
So
No,
I
I
did
can't.
I did a Parks on the Air today, and somebody called out, CQ POTA QRZ, and somebody came back to them in the sideband portion. Perfectly legal to do this. They came back in CW, and the guy said, "Call sign, you're 5'9". Thanks for the contact, 73."
We can do that to Frank.
Get him.
Frank will know it's you.
Yeah, I could just call out and he could call back and
Yeah, three-way communication. YouTube live stream plus the stream delay plus the HF.
Yeah, I can hear him down in the mud, but it's the problem about Texas is it's big enough that you can talk to people from end to end on 20 meters, but the rest of it, no. Unless the bands are really, really weird. Like I got Jason today. He's down at the coast on 20, and he was real weak.
Yeah.
But that's rare, which means the bands are dung today.
They were pretty bad today, yeah. Oh no, Jim is here. Haha.
Gene.
Chop it.
Welcome, Jim. I
Yeah,
totally
well.
didn't tell everybody that you had a preference of not being here.
No, I had a brain fart. That's what a senior moment, cranial flatulence, whatever you want to call it.
Cranial flatulence.
Yeah. Yeah, I was halfway to my kid's house to do a favor for her, and like, well, this is awkward.
He found out we were going to be on. He just bailed. He said,
I was like, I'm too embarrassed. They actually know how to do Morse code, and I can barely send CQ consistently. So
Not only do they know how to do Morse code, but they know how to program stuff and play games doing Morse code. So I was really impressed.
I could program
that
in Turbo
blows my mind.
Pascal for DOS 30 years ago.
So, Jim, I told them that we were going to do a DMR class.
Okay.
So,
Are the people happy? Are they like, no, DMR is the devil? I mean,
I'll tell you what. Everybody is happy except for one person, and it's not your nemesis. And you have two guesses to guess who in the chat isn't happy, who's not Don.
let's see. Well, that rules out Jody too, right?
Right? Yeah. He's also not coming.
Well, I was going to say, I didn't think he'd come from Canada to Huntsville, but I don't know. If it wasn't Don, I'm out.
It's our new favorite friend, Lee McNasty.
Oh, does he hate DMR too? Everybody hates DMR. And
I don't blame him.
It has its ups and its downs. A lot of downs.
I had to update Lee's call sign.
It's not that I don't like DMR. I just don't like what it takes to set it up.
It's actually, I mean, I've done it a bunch of times now, but it's E's, H's, I's, S's, and 5s.
all the dits. Those are
All the dits.
all the
Okay.
Yeah.
See, she knew that right away. I was
Nothing
like,
but dits.
I don't really
Yeah.
get that, Lee. But
My call sign is EH5IS.
Yeah.
It's just did it.
Those
And
are
you're
hard.
like, question mark? Question mark?
Those are hard.
DMR's
You gotta work
not-
on your spacing with those.
Yeah,
for sure.
that's my problem. You'd think all those years in band, I could get the rhythm down, but apparently not.
Yeah, our oldest was a drum person, and he just walked up and one day, and we were doing it, and I was trying to figure out how to use a paddle at the very beginning, one of my first times, and he picks it up and he just does something. He starts sending stuff. I'm like, how in the world do you even know Morse code? And he's like, oh, I just looked at that little chart there.
Yeah, he
But
was sending my call sign, and
It's
he
what
like
they
sent
look
it
at,
perfectly,
yeah.
and I was like, "What are you even doing?" Yeah.
Yeah. I played trumpet, so dits and das are not native to me.
The trumpet has an extra finger? 3?
No, three fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you need to invent a 3-fingered paddle.
Right.
A triambic paddle.
A triambic paddle. DMR's not terrible hard, but of course I say that I can program any DMR radio in less than 10 minutes, but I don't know. It's to me, it's like programming. If you understand the 5 or 6 basic building blocks. You just got to do those things in order, and it'll work on every
time. Yep.
every crappy Chinese CPS software there is, and they almost all are,
Yes.
and every good CPS software, of which there are not that many. So
I've looked through it. I don't own a DMR radios, but I've looked through it, and I understand. I guess the file cabinet analogy is what really made it click in my head with the file cabinet and the drawers and the files.
yeah,
Man, that's a lot to be able to pick up a radio and talk to
no,
somebody.
it's not.
It's not a ham paradigm. That's where, like, a ham
Yeah.
paradigm is usually I have like one contact or a group of contacts. And in DMR, you have one contact, and then you have public contacts, and you have groups of contacts, and you have groups of analog and digital contacts all mixed together. Then you can put those all into zones, and you can put them into receive groups, I think is what it's called, so that you can scan around. It's layers upon layers upon layers, and usually hams are down here for every other mode except for, and there's another 10 layers on top that is added to it for DMR.
Yeah, and the receive groups actually you don't need in probably 99% of the DMR radios in the last 4 or 5 years at least. Receive groups make it act like a scanner, and it is the sure way to get yourself confused about what you're trying to talk on or listen on. And I don't recommend receive groups, but some radios you have to set them up and some you don't.
So something that just happened this week, Jim, you're going to love this. The new H1 from Redivis, now it has the ability to not only do all the normal DMR stuff, but now you can take that and compound it by adding more radio IDs. So you and I can share a radio and have two programs, two CPS running in the same radio.
Yeah, you can already do that because you can put in multiple radio IDs in the 6X2, I know, and in every other DMR radio I've ever played with.
I just never did it.
Yeah,
I'm still not going to.
Right. Why would you? No, that's easy enough to do. So if you have a family like, Becky and Mike, they could each have their radio IDs in both radio, and she could switch it to be her, or he could switch it to be him and share the radio if you want to do that. It's like sharing a Facebook account, I think, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
I don't know. Out of all the digital modes, Fusion by far is the easiest.
You just put your call sign in and it works.
Yeah, right. And
you don't even know you're programmed for it. Your radio is like, welcome, type in your call sign. You're like, do, and you're like, oh, I'm on C4 FM all of a sudden.
Yeah, and then you just key in a group number and you're there. D-Star has a lot of capability and functionality that once you understand how they want to do it, it's pretty cool, but it will drive you nuts. I think D-Star is harder to master than DMR.
Interesting.
Since I still haven't mastered it.
About to jump into the D-Star world. I have 2 radios now that do it. So
nice.
I got a 9700 here, and then I bought somebody's used ICOM off of HRCC swap today. I can't remember what the model number is. It's an older HT from ICOM that does D-Star.
Yeah, I've got the 9700 and now the Kenwood D74.
Yeah, D74 is a great radio. I had one. I was afraid to ever carry it anywhere for fear of soiling it in any way. But
I bought mine used at a really good price, so I'm not afraid to carry it. But
I bought mine used at a really good price, and I was still afraid of soiling it. It felt dirty to take it out of the house. It's like wearing my school shoes to go out and play in or something.
So real quick, I'm going to put Dave on full screen. I'm going to put him on the spot. Show off your 3D printer station over there. Jim's going to start drooling.
Oh no, Jim!
I've seen it.
Jim already knows, I think.
Yeah. So you've got a Bamboo. That's a P1S.
2 P1Ss.
Yeah.
With 2 AMS2s and 2 of the old AMSs.
Yeah. What's the one in the corner? That's the other P1S?
Yeah, they're both P1Ss.
Mine are not here in this room. They're seated about the house.
Mando and Grogu.
I have, what are mine named this week? Oh yeah, I have Isis, Hathor, Anubis, Osiris, and then I couldn't think of any cool other Egyptian god names, so I named it Vagar after one of the dragons on Game of Thrones.
And you missed my little I went to pull one of the plates out of one of the printers, and everything went flying. It was kind of funny.
All popped loose at the same time.
Yeah, but I had a blowout.
It's supposed to be a fan blade. Yeah.
It's supposed to be
I
a
kinda-
fan blade.
I got that.
Heat
So
creep.
Ronnie's asking if you bought the 92 AD. The icon.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. I couldn't remember the model, but that's it. Yes, Ronnie, I got it before you did. Ha ha!
It's okay. In a couple of months, Ronnie would have sold it back to you.
In a couple months, I'll probably sell it to Ronnie. I don't know, but
Right.
it's entirely possible.
Ronnie and I trade radios all the time. I guess he's got you on speed dial too, Jim.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mike's got something to show off.
What do you got,
What do
Mike?
you got?
So since we were doing show and tell, so I don't know if you can see this. There we go. There we go.
Oh, that's
It's,
awesome looking.
All right, so it's a ultra portable antenna, and it pairs with this little bitty whip antenna.
So that's an
kind of
adjustable
similar
choke.
to the maybe the Elecraft AX1 or AX2.
Bring me
except
one.
for-
I want one.
and so it's very bottom. It has a tripod mount, so you can mount it on
Nice.
any standard tripod, or like they make the GoPro adapters for the tripod mount too,
Yeah.
so you can even suction cup it or put it wherever. And then it's got the ground lug on the side, so that even if you have a little bit of QRP radio like the ones that we like to use, that don't have any handy way to be able to connect a radio.
Oh, cover his face.
Yeah, my face is
Mike, stop moving.
Don't move.
The value of the stream just went up a whole lot, Becky. So that's
Becky,
an
it's focusing
adjustable-
on your smile.
Oh,
So that's an adjustable choke. I guess you can just adjust it up and down.
not
you
on
just
this
adjust the
design.
width?
So this is just locked to 20 meters right now.
Okay.
Nice.
so
I love it.
It's got a little channel for the magnet wire, and we just took off one at a time until we figured out how many it needed. And so now anybody who builds this can just copy ours. So
Nice.
That's
so we
pretty
haven't
slick.
we haven't shared it yet, but we'll share the design. So if anybody wants to print it, then they can. And then we set up a shop to be able to sell the Morse code keys. And so if people don't want to bother building it, if there's interest, then we can
Yeah.
build those for people too.
You should
Nice.
bring some to
Yes.
Montesano.
Yes.
Yeah. You'll walk away empty-handed.
Absolutely. Bring more than you think you want to carry. You guys live close by, right? Are you in Alabama or Tennessee, Mississippi?
no, we're in Huntsville. We're
You're
like
in
30
Huntsville.
minutes from Montesano. Yeah, not far at all.
Yeah, I remember you saying that the other day that you were in the neighborhood. My nephew lives up in Huntsville. I'm down in Montgomery. But
Yep.
Oh, challenge, Ape.
try
Jody
print
wants
that
Jim to
with
print
CF.
that in carbon fiber.
I don't even have carbon fiber filament here, so I can't. I can print it in varying shades of plastic, but I don't have anything with CF. CF's expensive, and I don't. If I had something real to print, like that thing, maybe I would do it in carbon fiber just to try it. But that looks good. What printer are you guys using?
Oh, let's see. We'll do a show and tell.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Not nearly as impressive. It's a A1 Mini.
Excellent printer. I got one.
That's the one I'm
ISIS.
thinking about.
That's
Yeah.
ISIS here.
Yep, that's Bambi.
Bambi. I'm not going to show and
Although-
tell around this because there's already more mess
Right.
than I really want showing.
Right. I do kind of like the way that Dave's printers are in those nice cabinets with the doors and everything.
Oh, yeah, that's the way they come.
Yeah.
They come.
Yeah.
It's an enclosed printer.
Yeah.
Because the A1 Mini doesn't come enclosed.
No.
No.
But it's just like a 7-inch build plate, and yep.
Yep. And Steve,
Well,
if you get a mini, you do not need to buy the AMS. I mean,
I have no
one-
room for the AMS.
Yeah, you aren't going to have the room. But the beauty of that thing is it'll print in dang near any position. Honestly.
I've got this space right here.
There you go.
It's just
Okay.
holding crap right now.
Yeah, I was gonna go with an
That's what all
A1
this
at
is
first,
holding crap.
but where I was living before, I needed an enclosed printer because we had a lot of dust and cats.
Yeah.
So that's what started me on the P1S.
I'm amazed that the cats don't mess with the A1 Mini more than they do because I think they're scared of it, which is I'm fine with. But yeah, I've got a Delta that's Vagar, and then I've got it's the FL Sun Super Racer, so it's a couple 3 years old, and then I've got a Qidi Plus 4, an A1 Mini,
Hey, Hollywood.
an Anycubic Cobra S1, and what the hell is the other one? Oh, a Creality K1. And I'd
Ronnie's
probably
asking if I
more
can have
had a
some
spot.
gear outside the room. I can have a little tiny bit, but not for long.
And he's already in trouble already.
Every day. Every day.
Well, I mean, there's drama today because Mrs.
Yeah.
T.O. is not happy with her computer situation at the moment. So,
Anybody want a MacBook Pro for parts?
Oh no.
So she's got the laptop that we were doing on Nuggets a while back, trying to get away from running anything on it. It's a Celeron processor with 4 gigs of RAM, and it's running Windows 11, which takes up about 3.8 out of 4 gigs of RAM.
and see, Hollywood agrees. Carbon fiber ain't going to matter.
Well, I mean, you just put half a turn down or half a turn up to fix it.
Yeah. And then Jody, that's true. I could print helmets for the cats, and that would be kind of funny, unless you knew my cats and know that that would not work out well for me if I tried to put a helmet on them. Yeah, I love 3D printing. So so you guys are going to do CW class?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No, I don't want it back.
Awesome. Did we talk about what everybody needs to bring? Because I missed that part. I was grievously late.
Food.
Yeah,
Yes,
for our
which-
class, really, like if you've got keys, bring them. If you've got a radio that you can put in practice mode and you can hook to it, that's great. We're going to bring some extra keys and some of the V-band adapters that you can actually use to put in, whatever you want to practice on.
I got the Vince Dingus.
And we watched your video on your J38, so you could bring that.
Yeah.
I will sell it to you because it is unlikely that I will ever use it ever
Oh.
after having discovered the love of a side swiping key. I'm like, why would I ever want to use that?
Yeah. We restored one and we actually love using it. So
I mean, if I actually knew what I was doing and my timing is off, I can get the timing on the side thing much better. The J38, and I have a I can't think of the brand. It's a red button and it's a red knob.
Oh, there's 2. Brown is one of them, and then the company that Brown stole it from
The other one.
St. Louis.
Who makes keys, y'all?
CW
Vibraplex?
Morse,
Vibraplex, that's it.
Vibraplex.
Yeah, I've got a Vibraplex straight key, which is much more adjustable, and I'm horrible at it. So, but I was like, when I started messing with it, I didn't know what I wanted to do anyway, so I might have bought 3 or 4 different keys.
I wish I would have known this. I might have to unlearn and relearn, but I want to do Ultimatic. If you watch somebody do Ultimatic keying, it's like, that makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
What is automatic keying?
So when you do iambic keying, you can hold down one of the paddles and it automatically repeats that. And then, so what you'll do is, this one does da 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 da, and then if you do this and then squeeze the other side, it does dot it dot it dot it. And if you start on this one, it does dit dit dit, and then if you hit this one first and squeeze, then it goes dit da dit da dit da. So there's a little bit of a nuance difference there. Ultimatic allows you to hold this one down and then tap this one as you add in the das. And then when you let go, it puts the dits back, and then it'll repeat the das, it'll put the dits back and repeat those. And there's a video out there, I'll have to find it and share it with you guys, where the guy goes through and he shows you how it's doing it. While he shows what's going on with his fingers, and he has the symbol showing up on the screen to show you how the different keys work. I'm like, oh, I got to learn how to do that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I have the key I would do it with is probably my Bengali. I bought a used Bengali off of eBay.
And Jim's one of us. He's one of the poors.
And it's pretty cool. It's the Sideswiper one. I had to make a cable for it and figure out how to wire it, but because it didn't have that part with it. But you can use it. I think it'll do Ultimatic, or is that a function of the keyer or not the key? I can't remember.
It's the keyer.
The keyer.
Keyer. Yeah.
Yep. And just a piece of trivia: the adapter we showed earlier, the V band adapter.
I got those. Yeah.
there's another website called Veil that this adapter works on, and then they also have one that uses a Seed Studio microcontroller that you can use. That it's got an open design that for the same thing, but it has Ultimatic mode, so you can do it on your browser too.
Yeah, I've played with the V band. I've got 2 of those little USB adapters, and I can't remember where I got them. I think one of them is what you just mentioned, but I don't remember. I'd have to go look.
Yeah, so the website that the folks that make V-band ham radio solutions, they sell
That's it.
these on their
That's it.
website for like $25, I think.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And it's in my little box of miscellaneous tiny computer things like SD cards and all that, where I won't lose it.
And I love this guy, but just to plug Seed Studio too, if you want to buy one of their devices, you can program a alternate firmware and then use that as one of these too.
It's amazing. So I play with the Meshtastic part of Seed Studios. If you go onto their website, there is stuff, just all sorts of stuff that does all sorts of things that are way over my head on what they do. But so far at every Hamfest that I've been to since I've been partnered with Seed, I have had at least 100 people come up and go, "Oh, hey, I've heard of you guys. I have your device that does this, and your device that I built this to do that, and this device to do that." And I'm just like, sweet. All right. I don't know what you're talking about, but that's awesome. But yeah, you look at their website and it's amazing at the different things that they have their hands in.
My keys put away right
They have
now.
a DC load tester I want.
That's a very handy thing to have. It really is. And you can kind of get that on some of the power supplies, the bench power supplies, because they'll let you set constant current, and then you can adjust the voltage also. So it kind of doubles. You can't load it, but you can at least adjust the output power and set it.
So David is asking Dave if Seed Studio will be there. This is Mr. Seed Studio. He will be there.
I will be there. I will be there for the 4 to 5 days in August, and then we'll be at the show. We have a booth. I don't know where it's at, but we have a booth.
Yeah, Dave's getting there late Tuesday, Jim.
Oh, awesome. I'll be up there around lunchtime. Have my people call your people.
Tuesday?
We'll do lunch. I'll be up there Wednesday morning.
Were you doing? I thought you would be there Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, Wednesday morning. Mr.
I
Rocker,
bring one out
my
CW,
first language
yes.
is sarcasm. My second language is English. My third language, which is actually my most prevalent one, is a filthy mouth, because I was in the fire department, in the military, and I picked up a lot of habits there.
One of our languages is movie quotes, and we haven't really done any yet today, but we'll save that
I'm
for
your
Monday.
Huckleberry.
There you go. I think we've yammered on long enough, fellers. Thank you very much for joining, and check out Ham Radio Duo on YouTube. And Dave, you've got a channel, but I mentioned that. Oh, Dave, I like it.
I got
Cover your
it.
That's
face
the,
up, Dave. There you go. Get closer.
That's the
I can't see.
Toad's digital
okay.
interface that we're working on. We sold out last week, but tomorrow Sunday, I already lost a day this week, on Ham Radio DX channel, and I think on my channel also, we're going to demo how to actually get that thing working, since they're starting to arrive in everybody's hands today. So
That's why I've flashed it up there. So I've got it. Now what do I do with it?
right. Did you get the documentation off the live stream link?
I did not. I guess I need to go find that.
Yeah. Just go to last Sunday's live stream and you'll see the link to the document there. Or it's pinned in the Discord in the Toad's DI room. Tomorrow is field day. Yes.
Yes, it is.
I thought.
All right, fellas,
and
I'm clicking the button. Go ahead, Jim.
Nope, never mind. Go ahead. Click the button. I was
Never
traveling.
mind. I should have clicked it while you were doing that.
You should have done that.
See y'all. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Sunday on Ham Church. Right?
Amen.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Amen.
All right.